Okay, so this is our presentation on agreeing to talk about race. It's an article by Singleton and Linton. My name's Ryan Manley, and then we also have Bailey Jones here as well to go over a little bit of the presentation as well. So to start us off, this is a summary about the article. So the article really focused on courageous conversation. And it talked about how the purpose of courageous conversation is basically to break down racial tensions and ignorance that hobble our progress as a nation. So basically states that those who possess knowledge should share it in a courageous conversation, and those who don't possess that knowledge can listen to those people who do and learn and grow from that. So there's four agreements of courageous conversation, four main parts to it while facilitating it. So the first part is to stay engaged. So everyone involved in the courageous conversation should stay engaged, remain morally, emotionally, intellectually, and socially involved in the dialogue. Basically states that you shouldn't check out of the conversation. Second agreement to the courageous conversation is to experience discomfort. So this helps us deal with the reality of race in an honest and forthright way, and ultimately relates to speaking your truth. So some people may be uncomfortable. Speaking truthfully may bring discomfort, but it's important to always be honest about your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and not just say what you would perceive others would want to hear. Some people may stay silent, and that would give others a false notion that they just support something. However, speaking your truth prevents that. And then the last part, last agreement of the courageous conversation would be to expect and accept non-closure. So the solution is actually revealed in the process of the dialogue itself, and solutions discovered are ever forming and ever changing. So it's just important to realize that. Another key point in the article is that educators need to consider their own racial consciousness. So whites may ask, are they aware that racial inequality exists, and are we capable of addressing it? Educators of color may ask if they unwittingly support institutionalized racism, and are they willing to speak up and confront those inequities. The article also gave a couple examples of educators from different racial groups. So one of the examples was Pam. Pam felt she was really caring towards people of color by serving in Latino communities, but the reality was she lacked the knowledge of the students' lives and basically what happened behind closed doors. So that was one example. Second example was Jamie. Jamie was biracial and didn't know how to facilitate conversation with her colleagues. And ultimately, both of these educators were able to learn about courageous conversation, implement them in the classroom, and also their discussions with colleagues. And because of that, they built a racial consciousness in their school. So the first step in developing racial consciousness is to acknowledge, I don't know what I don't know. And a lot of people start with this idea of I don't know, or I don't know, but I think I do. But in order to ultimately reach the I know, you got to start by acknowledging that you don't know what you don't know. And it's important to reach this deep level of racial consciousness to connect effectively with students, parents, and colleagues of different races.
So our next slide is about so what, why educators should care about courageous conversations and inclusion in their classroom. So we all know that school is one of the most important institutions for providing equal opportunity to students. So it's especially important, especially during adolescence, to make sure that the children feel included and don't feel left out by their other colleagues and even their teachers. So what we want to do is we want to advance an interracial dialogue through our courageous conversations, and to open up the dialogue and the text between the students as well as educators to help to increase the equality and to help increase inequities in the classroom. So good ways to use these practices as educators is just to create opportunities for the students to be able to open up in these courageous conversations, as well as our other faculties. So what we can do is we can read books, we can even view films and many other resources that are available to us. Not only can we use these guidelines in class, but also with our coworkers, and we must be honest about what we say and what we feel. So for an example, if you were an English teacher, you could choose your coursework and materials that cover a variety of races and cultural viewpoints. This would open up the conversations and create those courageous conversations that the students and faculty need in the school systems.